And good day to all, it's your boy Burner here with another video. And this time it's Terraria, but not on mobile like before. It's on a PC, because now I actually have it on a PC. And a good one, in fact. Today, I'm going to be remaking the quite short and didn't even exist at all mobile expert mode Terraria guide series, which is just an excuse for me to play expert mode when I have no experience in this game. But this is tips that I'm giving so far based on experience that I've had in the game for a long time. So I hope you do end up enjoying this series, and I would have thought I wanted to make a mobile version, but it's kind of difficult for me personally to make videos on mobile, obviously, because it's on an iPad that's pretty old. So this is just going to be a remake, and I hope you end up enjoying this. So the first thing I would recommend you do, if you're starting out on expert mode, or even in classic mode if you're new, is I'd recommend you, well, quite obviously, get some wood. Because it's the most valuable resource that you could get early game. You can make, well, a lot of things, not everything, but you're definitely gonna want to start out with wood. I can't make this more obvious, but I recommend you start building a house first, because I want to keep this guide safe. Because, well, if not he dies and you get the merchant, you might want him for the wall of flesh in order to actually progress, and plus you might want somewhere safe and somewhere to put all your stuff. And if you have time after you built the house, I'd recommend maybe go explore the forest a bit, because as you might see here, you already have the center of the world is forest, because on the right side you have one biome, in this case it's the corruption, on the other side, desert. And sometimes you might get these tall trees, you might want to take a look at those well. And you might want to find some caves to go down, in case you ever want to go mining, which you probably might want to the next day. But by this time it's probably already night, and I'd recommend you'd stay in your house for the first night instead of trying to fight all these mobs, because you're most likely going to have at least wooden armor if you decide to craft some, and wooden tools. Maybe you might have a copper sword or a weapon that helps out, but I'd say it's better to keep safe, because I want that guide safe too. The next thing to do that's probably a good idea on the second day after night has passed is obviously explore, if you haven't already, and loot those surface chests, because they have some quite valuable items that you might want to have, such as maybe one of them has a spear, or an umbrella, or a radar, which is useful for progressing to get the cell phone. And I'd recommend you clear out everything in... My goodness, I recommend you clear out absolutely everything in the chest and take in the chest itself, because if you need storage, it's a cheap way of getting storage early game without having to get iron first and use it. And maybe after you looted all the surface chests, you probably want to go down a cave already, start mining, which is a really good next step to have, because you're going to need some more resources if you want to survive, explore more of your world. But as I said, at least try to get as many surface items as you can, these surface chests, because they're actually quite helpful. It's better than having a wooden sword all the time and, well, no potions, because you might find recall potions, healing potions, potions in general, not to mention materials that you might need, like, say, tungsten bars, or basic metal materials that you'll find early game. That's quite helpful in progression. It makes things much easier. And plus, in expert mode, or maybe in classic mode if you're new, you might want to collect as many things in the surface as you can, like plants, seeds, mushrooms, because they can help out in crafting and save you a lot of time. Not to mention make boss fights much easier. And that was the rookie mistake I made in classic mode. not having any potions and having to look for some Daybloom that I threw away. Reminds me I might want to clear my inventory right now. So I'd say a good advice for mining would be to mine absolutely every single type of metal ore that you can find in the mines. Every tier from copper tier to gold tier. Mine absolutely all of it. I'd recommend that because you have plenty of resources then, and well, you might have enough for armor, and at the very least for weapons if you mine from copper to gold. And plus, you might use some of the lower tier for armor. But what I do recommend when you craft these all into bars is that you first craft the high tier ore, like gold ore, to bars and make that into weapons and tools. And that's because they're cheap, and they will also provide like a boost, like say gold sword for damage and pickaxe for mining respectively. And I'd recommend you make the low tier, or at least anything else, into types of armor, although do try to calculate maximum defense for these armors. But I recommend you use these low tiers for armor because you might find them more commonly than high tier like gold, so it's much better for armor use because it's more abundant. And plus you already have the high tier for tools, so you can use those tools to get more ore for armor, which you're probably going to want a decent amount, at the very least gold, or if you're daring, tungsten or lead, to fight the first boss, Eye of Cthulhu. Do be aware of traps when you're mining, and also be aware of life crystals as well. Try to use as many weapons as you can. Oh, this is not going well. That did not go well. But yeah, as you saw there from my terrible demise, mining is quite a dangerous thing. Expert mode especially, and even worse in master mode. So do try to stay safe. Try to bring as many weapons as you can and use them depending on the situations, but be careful for life crystals because they're quite helpful, and also be aware for traps because to see there's a pressure plate here and I don't want to die today.
Stop the cap!
Another tip for mining I'd say is try to mine for gems as well, because you can get 15 gems of any kind to make a grappling hook, so you don't have to go through the terrible grind for a hook by killing a decent amount of piranha. I think I'm gonna put up the drop percentage for the hook, and I'd say it's a much faster way of getting a grappling hook, which is again quite helpful. But yeah, I'd say that's everything I have, other than try not to explore too much horizontally until you've explored a lot vertically, because the corruption, the desert, basically every other biome, except maybe snow, is much more dangerous than the forest. So yeah, I'd say travel vertically so you can get ores, so you can travel horizontally to take on the biomes. But yeah, I think that's it for me today. I hope you had fun watching this video, and that's all the tips I have for beginners until we reach Eye of Cthulhu. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I forgot my intro again, of course. I mean my outro again, of course. I think it was went along the lines of good day and goodbye.